I apologize for my voice kind of sounding like crap today. I've been sick and I'm still recovering, so I apologize for that. Prediction for 3.18p release? Not this week. I know Saban thinks it'll be March. I don't think it'll be March, but it might be February. Because it's still pretty rough. What are my thoughts on the Corsair? I think the Corsair is an interesting looking ship. I like the firepower. I don't like the way that it flies. I find the way that it flies incredibly unpleasant. So yeah, I pretty much just want to chat about Star Citizen in 2023. Kind of my thoughts on the year going forward. Maybe take a look at the roadmap, and maybe we'll jump in and try to play some PTU today as well. Do you think 4.0 has a chance at coming out at the end of the year? I hope that 4.0 makes it by the end of the year. I sincerely hope that it does. I would really love for 4.0 to make it this year. We will have to see if it does. It depends how brutal 3.18 is. My kind of thoughts are that that basically 3.18 is gonna be most of the year, and that we might get into 4.0 around like fall of this year, maybe like around CitizenCon time. It seems like a pretty reasonable release time for 4.0 for me. I don't think 3.19 is going to happen. That's kind of my opinion, because I just can't, with 3.18 and 4.0 being such gigantic patches, I just can't see them sneaking another patch in between them. I seriously, I can't see that happening. So 3.18 has some cool stuff in it. One thing that kind of annoys me with CIG is that they put things in patches that they don't actually put on like the release view or progress tracker or anything. They just like throw it out there and maybe mention it in like a Spectrum post when someone like finds out about it, like the frickin' crafting thing that you can do on the salvage terminals on salvage ships. Yeah, that's a thing that exists. Daymar crash site, so that's the MSR and 600i crash sites on Daymar. I haven't been there yet. I hear it's pretty cool. I haven't been there. I should try and get there eventually. 3.19 might be a thing where they focus on bringing ships up to gold and the BMM out to everyone. I hope that we see the BMM this year. I know that they were talking about like stopping development on it, which I personally think is a really bad move for them, honestly. Here's why I think that them stopping development on the Banner Merchantman is a really, really bad idea from a business standpoint. Is because if there is one thing that CIG has a pretty poor reputation for, and that thing that they have a pretty poor reputation for is not finishing things. The Banner Merchantman is one of the most anticipated ships in the entire game. Everybody wants the Banner Merchantman. It is such a cool ship. Everyone is looking forward to it. And they told us 2021 CitizenCon is when they told us that they were working on it, right? And if they get like halfway done with it and then just stop working on it, it is not going to help them at all. What they need to do is they need to finish things. They need to finish the Banner Merchantman, because this is a ship that they've promised since forever. It's one of the like very old backer ship. They need to start finishing these old backer ships so that they can prove to people, hey, look, we can finish stuff, and when we do, it is awesome. That is what CIG needs to do in order to shut up the doubters, because otherwise, people will kind of justifiably be able to say, look, CIG never finishes anything, and this is why you shouldn't play Star Citizen. New rivers in Stanton. They dropped a ton of new rivers on Microtech, and there's also a bunch of them on Hurston. I'm glad that they're like adding stuff to Microtech and Hurston. I want them to redo or add more stuff to ArcCorp. ArcCorp is like one of my favorite planets. I love ArcCorp. It's such a cool idea conceptually, but I would love them to add more. I would love them to add more stuff to ArcCorp. It's the only landing zone that doesn't, or it's the only planet that doesn't have volumetric clouds at this point. It could definitely use some volumetric clouds and maybe some like smoke coming up from the city. There's actually an old demo of Star Citizen of like ArcCorp that I can't remember how long ago that was from, but for some reason it looks a lot cooler than ArcCorp does now. Actually, I think Bajini Point was also like way closer. Hang on, let me see if I can find that video. Yeah, look, you could actually fly your ship down through. You could fly your ship down through the building. Look at like the smoke coming out of the smokestacks and stuff. We don't have that in the live version. That's not a thing. And it looks fantastic. Look at that. How cool would it be if we actually had this actually in game? That would be amazing. This would be a great patch to actually release the Hull C if they decided to, you know, just put it as a straight to flyable, but probably won't because it would break the economy, most likely. The PTV racetrack itself is cool. PTVs suck to drive. In fact, every land vehicle sucks to drive in Star Citizen, except for maybe the hover bikes. The hover bikes are pretty fun, but yeah, the problem with like ground vehicles in Star Citizen is they don't turn unless you're accelerating, which is kind of a design flaw, because that's not how actual vehicles work. Usually when you're turning, you want to slow down, not speed up. Security post, Kareah reactivation. Yeah, this. So now SPK is literally the only way to... SPK is the only way to actually clear your crime stat now. So you have to go to SPK. Yeah, I know they're trying to drive... more like PvP activity into SPK by like updating it and making it the only place to recover your crime stat. But the one issue that I have with that is my opinion is that, like, as far as games are concerned, more options is always better than less options, right? So more places to go to clear your crime stat is always better than less options, because like with only one place to go, you kind of feel like you're just kind of being like railroaded to a single place if you get a crime stat, and it's very easy to get a crime stat if you just like accidentally bump into something. Right? So like I don't mind the mentality of them having like a specific station that you have to go to, but I think it would be beneficial to have maybe like one in each system, rather than just one in the entire game, if that makes sense. Yeah, I like the extra platforms at Orison. I think it's cool that you can actually get over there without it being like Siege of Orison now. That's pretty neat. I think those platforms are really cool. I haven't done any of these new missions yet on those platforms either, but I really like Orison, so I think having more stuff to do on Orison itself is really cool. One thing that I'd love to see happen for Crusader at some point is have more cities on Crusader rather than just Orison. So you have more points of interest to go on the planet. I think that would be cool. Obviously, Salvage is cool. The thing that was rumored to actually never be coming out is Salvage, and lo and behold, it actually came out. Magic. Imagine that. And it's cool. Salvage is neat. I've been doing some research into the Salvage mechanics. I kind of want to do a video about Salvage because there is some stuff to it that gives it some depth, which is kind of neat. Hull scraping is only hull scraping. Salvage has much more to come, and it's what is still to come that interests me. Yes, that's true, but it still is Salvage, and Salvage is cool. I like the whole stripping. And of course, we all know that the best part of Salvage is seeing people drawing penises on other people's ships using the salvage lasers. Yeah, the Vulture is cool. I like the Vulture a lot. I think the Vulture might actually be my favorite Drake ship. I love the yellow of it. It's very industrial looking, and I like industrial looking ships. It's just like, it's got a neat interior. Just functionally, it's really neat. I like that you can like get out of the cockpit on the front as well. That's pretty cool. It's just overall a cool ship. I like the Vulture a lot. So possibly manufacturing might be coming sooner than we expect, because we already have kind of a primitive form of manufacturing with that crafting terminal that we see on the Vulture and the Reclaimer, like the salvage depots, right? I think that ships with manufacturing wouldn't be that difficult to implement, because we already have a functioning system where it takes material like salvage material and turns it into stuff. So I think that a manufacturing ship could be really cool. You just take instead of having a thing that you take boxes of salvage material out, you have a thing that you like insert a box of salvage material, and then it like registers that in the inventory, and then you can craft stuff out of it. Like, imagine if you could just craft pieces of armor or guns and stuff like that and sell them either back to shops or to other players. Like, if you were able to manufacture railguns or railgun ammo, those are pretty rare now in the verse because they're not sold in any shops anymore. So the only place you can get them is in like bunkers, in loot boxes. Persistent entity streaming. Okay, so this is the big one. This is where stuff, you drop stuff on the floor or your ship blows up and you basically, it just stays there, right? Inevitably, this is going to end up with all of the landing zones getting completely filled up with trash and all of space getting completely filled up with derelict, blown up ships. This is where salvage comes in handy. They should start, you know what they should do? They should start adding missions in like landing zones for people to just go and pick up trash. Just like pick up 50 pieces of trash in the landing zone and get like 10,000 credits or something like that. Just like go clean up the landing zones for us, or salvage missions saying like saying like there are too many wrecked ships around Grimhex. Go and clean them up using a salvage ship or something like that. Because I wonder if the server load is going to be horrible. And that's kind of the concern, is like, right, is like how much stuff can reasonably stay spawned in like that until it starts to really wear down on the server. We've already seen small optimizations being slowly added to the game. Like when I started playing, this game it was impossible to run on like a laptop. But now it kind of runs okay on laptops. This is not like amazing. You're not going to get like 120 FPS, but you can get like 30 FPS on a laptop now. That's pretty good for a game like this. So